Got some news.
Hit me with it.
First things first, Mr. Musk himself, we're getting closer. He said X Money early public access will launch within the next month. Okay, so finally getting to it here.
Can you give me a rundown of what you know about X Money?
I know very little about X Money.
Okay.
I've got a meme that captures what other people are thinking about it. So let's
Good. Hit
pull
me
that
with
up
it.
real quick. Tony, Rigatoni, says card declined. Please delete all tweets that violate your bank's hate speech policies to process the payment.
That's crazy. Okay. So I gotta check this, but I just asked ChatGPT, what is X Money supposed to do? And it says send money instantly to others on X, store money in a digital wallet, pay creators or businesses directly, make purchases online or in app, and potentially integrate investing or financial services. That's what interests me the most,
Mm-hmm.
right? Is because that's where crypto could be brought back. I don't know how long term it would be unless we get an altcoin season because people will get burned pretty quick. But I could definitely see that making crypto pretty relevant.
Right, right. No, yeah, no doubt about it. That's definitely the thing that would be the most fascinating. Even tipping as well could be something that'd be really cool to kind of have like the what's the platform Noster kind of vibes where you can tip someone in Bitcoin
Totally.
or in cryptos or whatever.
But
But
do we want Elon to that's that's the he's such a polarizing dude. He's obviously a genius and like has achieved a ton. But how comfortable would you feel having your primary financial livelihood conducted on X?
mm-mm,
It's a
nah.
no from you. Yeah, I don't know. I'm so curious to see what they pull because he's had this vision in his mind for a very long time, right? Like the everything app, go back to PayPal. Why do you think he called it X? Is because that's what he saw in his mind as X would be the everything app?
Right.
Because it made no sense changing it to X.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like to this day, I'm still not going to call it X. It's still Twitter, brother.
Yeah, and then there's a whole bunch of conspiracy theories around that too, like XRP and like stuff like that.
Mm. You get the people fired up in the chat with that.
So that piece was that. Also, yesterday we had another big payments announcement, which was that MasterCard launches a new crypto partner program. And so this was an initiative that brings together 85 industry leaders, ensuring that what's next works with what already does. Interesting way to put it. I think that might be a little bit offensive to the crypto community, but we won't take it that way. So this has this little video. It just kind of goes through all the different partners that they have here. Some pretty big players in the
Big,
space:
yeah.
Anchorage, Ava Labs, Binance, BitGo, Bybit. So the big custodian platforms, even Circle, even some blockchains in particular, Ripple, Nexo, lots of
It's a
cool
lot of
names there.
names, man.
Yeah. And MasterCard has by far been very on top of all of this. They also had another thing that they announced a few years ago. I've kind of forgot the name of it, but it was kind of a platform that would clearly allow them to merge all of the blockchain systems with all of the traditional systems that they have in place already. I can't remember it. I'm sure somebody in the comments might have remembered what they called it. But so yeah, Mastercard very well positioned and poised to take advantage of these changes that are coming. Interesting timing here, I will admit.
Why is that?
I just feel like there's a lot of payments stuff happening right now,
Mhm.
and there's also this like huge conflict that's breaking out in the world,
Do you think they're
and
connected?
crypto is just not like no one, you know what I'm saying, cares. So why is this
That's
all happening right now?
I mean, and obviously I'm way too close to it to be unbiased here, but I've always felt like this was a bigger part of the conversation than people realize, and I just think it's gonna, like, not a literal switch will be flicked where instantly it's so popular, but I think it's just an inevitable reality, and maybe it was all coordinated, where more and more people will become like crypto people, right? Because it'll just become the conversation. Because it's pretty easy to monopolize a social media feed because it's usually a few key figures that are capturing sentiment, right? So, like, let's for example, why Joe Rogan experience is such like a crazy thing is because what starts there just gets parroted because if Joe has the biggest audience, right? any other subsequent creator that can piggyback off of what was said on that show, they now know there's millions of people that will know what they're talking about.
True.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, there's this feedback loop of incentive structures that people just aren't really grasping. And so when they go to their feed and they look, they're like, oh, this is reality. It's like reality is whatever would make people the most money that day. Do you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
So I do think eventually it's going to be a pretty obvious transition into this stuff. And I have a tweet from Matt, is it Hogan or Hugan?
Yep. Matt
Uh,
Hogan.
where he basically talks on this. And this is something that I think about all the time, dude. And I would love to hear your thoughts on this, Keith, because this is really the $1 trillion question. Is so he talks about the tweet that you just showed. Can you see? Want me to zoom in?
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
And he said, it's pretty clear that essentially all of finance will move on blockchain based rails in the coming years. The only real question left is how much value gets captured by tokens versus other entities. That will be the battleground for the next cycle. Because that's always the question with any of these technologies is who captures the market value? Like, let's say for the internet, like the app layer or like the platform layers gain so much of that value,
Mhm.
right? Like YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, et cetera, right? And now it's like, okay, well, is it going to be the utility layer? Is it going to be like the app layer? It's so difficult to predict that stuff.
No doubt about it. It kind of also moves into this next news story here.
Hit me with it.
So, the SEC and the CFTC have just published an MOU, a memorandum of understanding to coordinate regulation of digital asset markets between the two agencies. For years, the biggest regulatory problem in crypto was the SEC claiming that most tokens are securities, CFTC claiming that many are commodities. And so this created a turf war. So I haven't had the time to fully dive into this entire MOU, but it's clear that the SEC and the CFTC are coming out and making specific strides and announcements around how they're going to continue to legislate, or excuse me, regulate this technology with or without the Clarity Act in place, is what it seems to be to me. So fascinating. Once again, shout out to Mark for
Hmm.
this summary of what he's seen here, but I haven't been able to see it yet, so I don't know exactly what's in it, but it's interesting to see.
Bro, It's it's still so insane to me. Obviously, it's impossible to not be bearish when the prices are getting mutilated and you're seeing your net worth get crashed. But like everything in the background is so bullish, man.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, I do think that at this point there will be, like, the way that you described it to me sort of makes sense, because what's happening here is, I mean, this has been going on for years now. You've got all the traditional players lining up everything that they need technologically for all of this stuff to work. And then eventually you'll get the regulations and eventually you'll get the price movement. But if all of that kind of, if the price moves when all of that stuff is in place, right? As we're going through this bear market, then yeah, the next time that we go up, it might just be a totally different type of an equation where, yeah, it just has this virality effect of like, well, yeah, Chase just drops, crypto everything. You can do crypto in your banks and all of this. And they're trying to get your crypto, especially in the middle of a bull market, is when they're going to try to do it.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean, it would feel like a flipping of a switch type of a moment where everything is just ready to go.
A few things there that my mind goes to. The first of which is we have a serious finance inequality problem, right? And so if you handle this properly, you can essentially create value out of thin air and put it into the people most affected. And it probably slows down at least a lot of the unrest that you currently have. Because people are like, people think, okay, there's a lot of shit going on in the world. There's always a lot of shit going on in the world. People care about it way more because they're poor. They're way louder when they're poor because there's constant state of anxiety. And so everything, you feel so much more. So
Right.
everything is a bigger thing. And I'm not saying that small things are happening. These are massive things. Don't get me wrong. But then on top of that, like if all these guys are now involved, everybody who's like no, I'll never touch that thing. How do you still say that with any degree of conviction when everyone around you has made a lot of money and the place that you trust with your mortgage or your banking is also in on this too? Then it's like, how do you eventually you're going to have to go in?
Facts. No doubt about it, man. And next piece here, we have the reality that Americans at the moment are pulling money out of their 401ks at record rates. So I think this mostly has to do with the conflict that's happening in the Middle East. Is a big part of what is going on here. But they're taking out hardship withdrawals, which is up to 6% of participants taking these versus 4.8% in 2024. So in general, I think people are also just kind of hurting and starting
Mhm.
needing to take withdrawals from their accounts. I think this conflict is also spooking people a little bit and adding fuel to that fire.
Totally. Yeah, we don't have the 401k here. We have a
Right.
bunch of other similar accounts and whatnot, but what's the kind of penalties for taking money out like that?
Oof. I'm pretty sure, I guess the hardship thing must be an exemption that you get, which
Got it.
I actually have never heard that until just now. But I think otherwise it'd be like a 10% penalty that you get on taking out of your 401k early. I
Got it.
think that's what it is. So, yep. And then another piece, we've been talking about this private credit situation. It's continuing to get worse. We've gotten to the point where now Morgan Stanley also has just limited redemptions on its private credit fund.
Who's that guy? Does he run Morgan Stanley?
I don't know who that guy is. If anyone knows who that
Bro,
guy is, let
if
us know
you
in the
could, like,
comments.
give me, like, a generic banker, like, that's the guy. Like, if I could think of old money, bro, that's the individual.
He's the iStock photo.
Yeah, totally.
That's
Like,
hilarious.
rich white guy. This is
So that one happened. Another piece here is that enterprise software firm Atlassian announces it's laying off 10% of its workforce due to restructuring around AI. So some people are saying, well, we just feel like these companies might have massively overhired post the public health crisis in 2020 and are now using AI era as
Mhm.
a convenient excuse, plus free headlines. Because now we know if you put these headlines out, your stock price can go up. So that's something that people are talking about there. One other thing that I thought was really interesting here is we had a Department of Justice lawyer quit before a judicial scolding for an AI brief error. So the Department of Justice is the Department of Justice here in the United States. They are the legal, arm of the government. And an assistant U.S. attorney in North Carolina said that he's resigning over AI created fabricated quotes and erroneous citations in an AI produced court brief. So he's made a personal decision to separate from the office after this incident. And there's a whole bunch of kind of controversy around this. It seems that he's exited himself before getting brutally scolded by the law.
Wow.
But
So
that's where we're at, folks.
so will he be able or will that person be able to avoid punishment because they left?
I don't think so. I think that I imagine you still are going to lose that bar. I don't know, but maybe he just doesn't have to have, like, I was fired by the US government kind
Got
of
it.
thing. You know what I
Got it,
mean?
got it, got it. Yeah, AI in general is absolutely insane from, like, an IP law perspective too. Like, these companies are so blatantly training and building value off of other people's intellectual property.
No doubt.
It's actually insane, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if I tried to go do this, like, okay, let's say I tried to go train my model on, like, Disney shit, like, Disney would be at my door the next day. You know what I mean? But they've got enough leverage where they, I guess, keep things at bay by the courts and stuff, but it's just, yeah, it's truly insane.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not an easy thing to address because it comes down to, like, okay, what percent, right? And then
True.
and then the inputs of it, right, versus the outputs. Like, where am I actually getting the data that I'm using to come up with this stuff as the AI model I'm saying?
Mhm.
So,
You've
um, mm, mm.
you've gotta think I was talking about this with my mom last night because she keeps sending me shit that's AI and she doesn't know, man. And then she sent it to me and I'm like she's like, "I thought you'd like it." I'm like, "I do like it. I just wanna make sure you know this is AI." She's like, "Okay, like, thanks." And then, she's like, "What isn't at this point?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. It's gonna get more and more like that." You've gotta think they're going to mandate, like, big ol' watermarks as a necessity. Like, how is that not already a thing?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Seeing laws get passed. Did you have a point there? Sorry.
No.
I'm seeing laws get passed in terms of the commercial use of this content. So, like, I think it was in New York, I think, where if you use AI content and you don't disclose it, you can get a big fine.
Word. Word. I think that's a good step at the very minimum.
Yeah, because
Um
I haven't used any AI content really on, like, to advertise any of my apps because I worry about shit like this. Well, the ethical thing's one. I don't wanna, like, someone to buy a product because they think they're seeing someone who loves it and it's a freaking robot. That's a little weird for me. And then 2, it's like I also legal things can become a thing, so I don't wanna I really
Yeah.
would rather avoid that.
No, facts. I mean, when it comes to new technologies, a lot of people assume that because there's no law for the technology that they don't think about the fact that other laws are still in place,
Yeah, too.
right? That
Very true.
refer to how you're using the
Yeah,
technology. Same thing with
totally.
crypto. We've seen it all the time. It's like, oh, well, there's no law, so I could just raise money from the public. Like, brother, that's not how it works.
No,
So that's one thing. And then and with this, it's the same kind of a thing with the FTC, right? Because a lot of people don't know the FTC, but the Federal Trade Commission in the United States, there's certain things that they can absolutely come after you for if you're doing deceptive practices in your
mhm,
advertising in any sort of a way.
totally. Yeah, Carl's making the point of, like, how would you pursue this all?
Yeah.
Obviously, they wouldn't pursue it all, but you don't wanna be the few unlucky ones, right?
Yeah, for sure. It would have to come down to the platforms. They'd have to use the platforms as a choke point
Mm,
and, like, say, if you don't hold people responsible, then we're gonna come after you. Section 230 is supposed to protect that, but they'd have to find ways to try to regulate the platforms.
totally, totally.
And even then, right, that doesn't solve the problem. They still gotta figure out the technique to actually respond.
Mhm,
The thing that I've been seeing the most that's probably the most messed up is, like, people advertising anything that can be ingested, right? But using AI videos to promote it, like, where it's like, this person, look at their weight loss journey as an example,
mm.
right? And it's, like, completely fake.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, "Yo, that cannot be legal."
That's a
Like
very good point. That's so dangerous.
yeah, like,
Because then
holy crap.
also, like, there's also things like that are very popular, like peptides are very popular now, and people are starting to try whatever from wherever, right? And so
Right.
then, like, that's a very dangerous thing, and a lot of these people are promoting these pharmacies and stuff like that too, and they're using AI content to like, that's
Mhm.
absolutely like, think about that.
Yeah,
You're using a fake transformation to sell a product that's not tested that you inject into your body.
like,
Like, that's
holy moly.
absurd.
Yeah, so that's the biggest concern that I would have around all this stuff. Next story here, we've talked about like, oh, is there something going on? Okay, so the biggest thing right now is let me say it this way: with this conflict that's happening in the Middle East, the internet is playing a big role in how everything's kind of shaping up.
Totally.
Countries are starting to get upset with people for posting images, videos of the damages and things that are happening. Now, what has happened here is that I believe yesterday, a British tourist who's 60 years old, who was filming an Iranian missile in Dubai, is facing 2 years in prison after being charged with cybercrime offense. So, just saying that that's happened. That's from the Daily Mail. We've got Sagar and Jetty here saying that 20 people in the UAE have been charged for sharing videos of Iranian strikes. A reminder that we have absolutely no clue how bad the situation is in any of these countries.
That's
Now,
so scary.
very wild to think about. Um, and to be fair, in Dubai in general, there's a lot of regulation around filming stuff. So I guess you could try to say, well, like even if that wasn't going on, you're really not supposed to film in public and like all these kinds of things. But
But they can film you 24/7 though.
right, and as a tourist, man, like, geez, that's tough, man. Um, Definitely, guys, do your best to know your laws. If you're going to be traveling to places, I'll tell you that for sure. This is a
Mhm.
very unique situation. There's an actual conflict that has broken out across the region, so it's also a lot more intense and extreme. But yeah, I mean, there's a couple of like security concerns that people have mentioned, right? Because if you are filming something that got hit, then essentially you first off told the person who launched that they hit something.
True, true.
And yeah, so you, and then also, yeah, it just tells you basically that where there's vulnerabilities potentially,
Yeah.
right? Because all of
What
that
to do
too.
next, all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
No, I get it. It's just as a civilian, it's just kind of a insane thing to think about how many more countries are pushing towards similar things in general, right? Where they can film you 24/7, but you can't film what they're filming. It's like, does this make sense?
yeah, dude. I mean, that's the thing, right? Oof, the incentives right now around how all the stuff moves forward are not pretty.
No, man. And Canada's scary, very scary for all that stuff, but we'll save that for a different episode.
Okay, so a couple of also cyber attacks, you could call that across the United States. McKinsey. rushed to fix an AI system after a hacker exposed the flaws in their system. I don't have access to this full article, but I did see that come out. I think that was earlier today, even that this happened. Now, this one, I don't know if this was a cyber attack per se. I think this might have been some domestic user who made this happen. But in the other side of this, we did have the war in Iran actually expanding with a major cyber security attack against a U.S. company called Stryker. And from what I've seen, there was like 200,000 people who worked at this company, or thousands of employees who have woken up on Wednesday to find their cell phones and laptops disabled and wiped. So, and then there was like some logo that was like from some Iranian hacker group that was like displaying on people's devices and stuff like that too. So, the war front has moved potentially digital. Be aware of this, I guess, as things start to heat up and get interesting. I also got a text this morning that felt very off, that I hadn't seen before, and that just something that I'm going to be keeping a closer eye on as well.
You got a text
Yeah, I did.
from someone that you know or someone
No,
impersonating
I'm
or
saying this was like a typical
scam?
scam text, but with a lot of information that
Whoa,
wouldn't like you'd have to have access to a database to have that information.
weird.
So, yep. Uh, so I saw that, and then there was a potential ceasefire that was offered. From what we've seen in the news cycle, didn't seem like that was going to get anywhere. As far as the situation with oil and whatnot, we've got Iraq halting operations across the country's oil ports after one was killed in a port attack over in Iraq. You also had a port in Oman essentially get closed down. Their biggest port was struck by drones for the second time yesterday. So that situation is heating up. We've also had China actually potentially halting refined fuel exports in March to protect domestic supply. So, oil situation continuing to heat up. My personal take on this, everybody who's listening, is that people are not taking this seriously enough.
Really?
Yeah, I think people are completely asleep at the wheel right now.
So what is the trickle down of what you think is a possible reality?
I think that, and this is also right from my limited understanding of the Strait of Hormuz situation, right? But from what we're seeing there, if 20% of the world's oil is flowing through there, if Iran is promising to block it, potentially laying mines across it, there's not really much of an alternative to that situation. Like,
Mm,
oil is going to spike. It's not only oil as well, and it's not just energy as well. We talked about this on the pod, I believe, last time. Oil is used in several different aspects of our society. There's
so many.
tons of different things, not just energy. Plus, you've got natural gas, that's heating, that's electricity. Plus, you've got fertilizers, urea, all of the stuff that's flowing through the Strait of Hormuz. If you're cutting off 20% of the world's supply of just the oil alone, that's enough to cause a crisis over an extended period of time. So, yeah, I think with that understood, with the fact that Iran is potentially willing to go as far as to lay mines across it, which means that nothing can get through, no matter what, then I don't think that there's a really quick solve to this.
Mm,
Um, and the other thing, we listened to Professor Zhang talk about all of this. If Iranians are willing to die, right, to maintain their sovereignty, to maintain and their existence as a state, then this doesn't end.
no, not until yeah, like
You see what I'm
there's no
saying?
one left. Yeah,
Exactly. So, um, yeah, I don't know. I think people are absolutely underplaying it. Let me get my camera. Sorry.
you're good. You're good. And I'm seeing this is probably one of the stories, but I'm seeing that all these Twitter accounts are basically saying that there's going to be like a military draft for ground troops. Um, I'm seeing a lot of that because obviously that's very click worthy. But that would definitely lead to very bad outcomes. I think I saw Professor Jiang's video from last night or 2 nights ago where he was basically saying that would be likely the thing that would lead to a civil war in America if that were to take place or could potentially lead to that. 'Cause, yeah, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of public support from America. Again, I'm not there, so I don't know shit, but in terms of for the conflict, and so if you're gonna try to get ground troops there, I can't see that going well.
Yeah, that's the one part of Professor Zhang's stuff that I hope is purely false or
Yeah, I hope you're super
incorrect.
wrong. Yeah.
Because yeah, that wouldn't it probably just wouldn't even work. It would cause a big problem. So yeah, and really the reason I say that it's under like, I think people are underplaying is because the markets aren't reacting, right? And that's why.
So y
It's reflexive. People aren't giving a crap, and so they're not reacting in the markets, and the markets aren't reacting, right? But, like, at some point, the market's gonna catch up to the
yeah.
fact that this is a real problem, and then people
So
will
the
start to freak out.
markets just think that it's all, like, people are bluffing?
I can't make sense of it. Like, clearly, there's information that I don't have, but, yeah, I guess the market is saying, "Oh, this will be over soon," but, like,
Do you
I I
think?
I I I would prefer the market to overreact, right? This
Yeah,
is what I'm
yeah.
saying, that it's not, and so I'm like, "Okay, well, then something's up then."
So is that, do you think this is a trickle down effect from, Venezuela and how smooth that went?
I saw some more reporting on that situation, and the truth of the matter with that is that there's only so much, that output that they actually have on a daily basis, and it doesn't make up for what's happening. I think it's like 2,000,000 barrels a day max
Yeah,
that they're able to get out.
there's a lot of work that needs to be done to actually make that usable, right?
Exactly, exactly. And just this tweet I saw pretty much perfectly encapsulates what I'm trying to say about the markets, right? This guy Marco said it took 6 weeks for the markets to realize there was a global pandemic despite nonstop reports. It took 6 weeks for the markets to buy Nvidia stock despite the grandiose and public demonstration of talking computers. It'll take 6 weeks to realize that the strait is shut. And yeah, I think that's a good timeline because it's also if after 6 weeks it's still shut, then yeah, you definitely have a real problem.
It's also tough for people because there are a lot of these the world is ending stuff, like, multiple times per
Exactly.
year.
Exactly. And that's why I'm so on alert with this because this one is not being taken that way. At the same time, it is a real issue, right?
Mm,
So that's exactly why I feel like this is a huge opportunity to, for one, tactically find ways to potentially be ahead of something happening in the markets, but also in real life, like prepare for there to potentially be disruptions to your supply chains. Personally, I have been doing that myself.
nice. Yeah, it's, something we'll definitely try to keep monitoring, but we've also mentioned how there's so much misdirection and it's almost impossible to follow. Like, I think it was Eric Weinstein that I saw tweet last night being like, "Is there any page that doesn't just post straight bullshit on this stuff?" And then this one guy underneath replied with a page, and then right underneath that was a time when they were full of shit. So it's like, oh, man, it's a difficult thing to navigate.
Yeah, man. Yeah, this is why I'm very. I guess I'm not. I don't want to be right about there being supply chain disruptions, um, but it's just like there's so many different things that are like just non realities and like non important pieces of this. Everyone's talking about like I just think that there's so many things that people are under. Like when people say, "Oh, Iran is laying mines across the Strait of Hormuz," like to me in my mind that calculates, "Oh, this is not going to be opened." Like that is literally me putting like it's like me how do I it's like self-detonating.
It's semi-permanent to
Yeah.
do that.
Like you can't just like and there are technologies that allow you to get that stuff out or to like detect them and whatnot. Don't get me wrong. But how much longer does that take?
Mhm.
And that's their only goal is to prolong this until everyone else is like, America, stop. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what they're trying to get everyone to do.
Interesting. And so that in particular is what makes this feel different than the other sky is falling events?
Yes, because it's a supply side issue that you cannot resolve. I'll play you guys a clip with a
Any
policy
other way.
response.
Mm.
There's no policy response. There's no like,
You can't print money, you
you
can't
can't print
I
money.
yeah, yeah.
You can't get them to back off. Like, no, they're not going to stop until you actually say that we're going to stop. And then the other thing is, well, this let me play the clip because this guy puts it perfectly as well. He's like, look now they're bombing right all of these oil ports. So now that's also messed up. So it's no longer just the actual the place to transport it through. It's can you even get the output at all? And that
Scary.
takes time to rebuild.
Mhm.
So I'll try to find that clip as well. Plus, you see the U.S. government starting to gear up. I'm going to make a whole video on it today. because clearly the U.S. is kind of preparing for there to be domestic issues. But we'll move into the reactions side of things, and we'll start with this one. I guess, oof. This isn't
Let's have
reactions yet. It's more just me talking news, so we'll play it from this guy.
yeah, go for it.
You believe that even if there's a ceasefire tomorrow, right now, the next 5 minutes, the world's changed. The commodities of the crude. What's changed?
For one, you've disrupted global supply chains. This is not just a disruption in oil. It's gas, it's fertilizers, it's metals, it's petrochemicals. The list goes on. And then you've disrupted supply chains in countries all over the world. The ships are in the wrong places. The insurances have been canceled. You've taken the pressure out of the fields that you've shut in places like Saudi Arabia or Iraq or even in the UAE. The list goes on and on. The damage is going to take months to unwind. But I want to bring it to the immediate. There is no policy response that can stop this ascent in crude. None. And yes, you've paid this 400 million barrel headline. Flow rate is what matters. You know, the maximum sustainable flow rate is 2 million barrels per day. So 400, that'll take them 200 days to get that out. And you put that in the context of a disruption of, let's net it out of this, it's got to be somewhere around 18 million barrels per day right now. We're just at minuscule in terms of offsetting it. So again, there's not many options here.
So
Yeah,
that's
scary.
Jeff Curry from Carlyle, who is one of the largest private equity firms in the world.
Maybe America has a perfected 0 point energy,
Maybe.
and maybe they're about to roll that out.
I will say this is going to be a legit moment because I do think that just like in 2020, where you think that this isn't going to affect you, but it actually does. I do think we start to see those kinds of things. And if we do, it will be a great time to roll out whatever it is.
What's next? Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's very important when you feel something to like listen to that. So Keith, if you take that seriously and you feel it's different, then I would trust that. And then Lainey said something very similar. She said, I can't put my finger on it, but it feels different. I agree, Keith. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. Their next comment was, it feels different.
Yeah.
And,
something about the current situation feels different to me. I can't put my finger on it.
Mm-hmm. And throughout my life, when I've just had a feeling, it's usually right, dude. Like the hit rate is pretty high.
That's fair. Yeah. And to me, it's really just the complacency in the market. That's literally the major thing. It's just like, why would you not why would you react to software, to Anthropic dropping a model? Right. And that just like tanks the market, or DeepSeek releasing something and that just tanks the market. And there's a war in the Middle East.
Yeah.
And no one cares. I'm like, okay.
I think it shows the power of media and like also people's priorities, right? People are more motivated by their immediate potential job loss than they are the world ending. That's crazy.
I guess so.
But yeah, no, and thanks for sharing all that. But Krith said you have a YouTube question. If you in the chat say your YouTube channel at the end, I'll go look at it and give you some advice.
Fantastic. Now we can lighten up the mood just a little bit. Couple of things that we want to react to. So Jake Paul was at some, I guess, Trump speech, and he had some words. So let's hear what he had to say.
Anyway. And he walked out with a broken jaw. Anyway, this was not the greatest fight. But you know what it showed? Lots of courage. Come here, Jake. Sir.
Yeah, what Mr. Trump has taught me is courage. We never back down from a fight, even if they're much bigger than you, much, much bigger than you. And I feel all the local Kentuckians feel the same way. You guys have that fight. You guys have that swag. There's a lot of young kids in here. The future of America. I grew up just a few hours away from here. My dad taught me to fight. And all of our voices matter in America. And I'm never afraid to speak the truth. And I know you guys aren't. We're here representing the United States, and it's just a blessing. Thank you, Mr. Trump. We need more factories like this thriving all over the country, and I know he's going to be the one to bring that here to us. I know God is with us. I know he wants us on the right side of history, and everyone here has to do their part, and God's got us. Trump's got us. God bless. Love you, Kentucky.
Now, he's a great guy. He's a courageous guy and a talented guy. He's a hell of a fighter, too, by the way. And I just want to say, I'm going to make a prediction that you will be, in the not too distant future, running for political office. And you have my complete and total endorsement, okay? Yeah, that's what we want. He's an incredible guy. A lot of courage, smarts.
Jake Paul for president,
Oh God, I hope not.
2028.
So someone spotted it right away, saying his pits. So that's definitely a viral marketing stunt. He runs a deodorant slash antiperspirant brand. And so he did this for free marketing because when he goes out there and he has these massive pitters, then everyone's going to be roasting him. And then it's a spillover way of getting free marketing for your brand because the joke will be artificial, but it will be homeboy owns a freaking deodorant brand and he can't deal with his own pitters. That was 100% on purpose. Also, anybody who's ever had a suit jacket, I sweat a lot as a guy. I've never sweat through a suit jacket. Like that would take a lot of effort.
That's true. That's true. That's pretty intense. Very interesting, man. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, no doubt. That's how they all operate, bro. It's same with Logan when he tried to fight all the NFL players, and then someone said that they would, and then on stream, his boss from the WWE, sorry, I can't speak, called and was like, "You can't do this."
Right.
It's like, okay, if this, yeah, you just happened to be on stream when that happened, like that's not coordinated, and he's wearing a big Prime sweater too. Well, for the moment, like
Yeah, that's crazy.
anything that they do, assume it's for some sort of marketing initiative all the time. Like everything that comes out of their mouth, everything is marketing. And so that's why I think that the more savvy the consumer gets, I just think they're going to get more and more desensitized to that. Maybe I have too much faith in humanity, but yeah.
It reminds me of the inauguration with Theo Von. I don't even remember if it was one of those two that were involved or not. Maybe it was the Nuck Boys. No, it was Logan Paul. Where like at the inauguration in January last year, they like pulled the chair back from him or whatever from Theo Von, and he like fell out in the middle of the inauguration and stuff. And I'm like, yo, these guys are crazy.
Yeah, they yeah, Jake, they're obviously very talented at what they do, but the shock marketing thing is their whole shtick. So they do it all the time. Look at everything they've ever done. It's always shock and awe.
Fascinating. Taylor Kinney, who is a popular analyst in the gold space as well as just general macroeconomics. She put out a video on X yesterday. Now, this one is a little bit sensationalist feeling, but I think that there might be some reality to it. Plus, there's a really good meme that comes off of it. So let's react to this clip real quick.
There's a cyber attack happening right now coming from a hacker group based out of Iran that is wiping people's personal cell phones. And I know because it just happened to my husband. He woke up this morning to his phone factory reset, no phone number attached, everything wiped. But the implications of this are so much bigger, especially when you start to think about your bank. Before I explain the bank risk, this is the group that claimed credit this morning, taking down a major medical device corporation and all of its tens of thousands of employees' personal devices, wiping everything and getting all of their information. Obviously, we're still freaking out because his phone's cooked. They have access to all of our information and God knows what else. But on top of that, it immediately made me think, what happens when they target US banks next? All of the bank accounts go to zero, or you're frozen out, or they go after digital payments and everything shuts down, or they could go after the electrical grid. We know how devastating that would be. And the infrastructure here in the United States is so old, it would be easy to do. They're living through a new type of warfare, and most people here have no idea and are not even close to being. There's really nothing we could have done to have stopped what just happened this morning, but I think this is just the start. Not only are personal devices at risk, but institutions and infrastructure. My advice to everyone is to make sure you have cash, silver, and gold, because if all of your wealth is tied up in the system that's vulnerable to their attacks, you're leaving yourself, your family, and future generations vulnerable too. We don't know what's coming next, but all we can do is be prepared. Stay safe out there, everyone.
So, you know, obviously can't verify the veracity of what's happened here. And she is a media personality. So it makes sense to, tell these types of stories, right? But I honestly wanted to share this because I thought the meme that came off of it was absolutely hilarious. And I'd love to have Taylor on the show at some point too. So Big AI said, my bank account is already at zero. What precautions should I take? So I thought that was pretty good. I think there was one other one, and this guy said, target my mortgage, please.
But there's going to be more and more of these stories, even if they're not true. Because how else do you make people do what you want and sign up for a new system? You have to say there's no other option. Right? So like these will become so common. They do this all the time. Like you don't need to go that far back in history. where they make you hate certain people to justify certain things. Like
Mm.
this is just the same playbook on repeat all the time. And now they just have so much more of an efficient mechanism of spreading that because it's scattered across so many sub pockets of internets with no counter forces, right? Because you're not watching the TV in the room with other people where maybe there's one sound minded individual who'll be like, nah, that's bullshit. Everyone's in their own little echo chamber from someone they've built a deep relationship with. So, yeah, I'm sure there'll be plenty more of that, even if they're not true.
I think that's a solid framework of looking at the situation. Now, we had another clip that we wanted to get some reaction to. You see something in the comments?
No, no, no. I was
Okay.
just reading a tweet and yeah,
Okay.
didn't look good.
This guy talking about Congress. Let's hear what he has to say real quick and we'll react.
Is to call out the poor leadership of the boomer generation over the past 30 years. We are unhappy with the results. You took the national debt from $4 trillion in the early 90s to nearly $40 trillion today. Your children and grandchildren spend 20% of their tax dollars on the interest on that debt alone. The housing is unaffordable, rent is unaffordable, daycare is unaffordable, college is unaffordable, healthcare is unaffordable, gas is unaffordable, utilities is unaffordable under your watch. You were also responsible for the greatest wealth inequality gap in modern history. The top 10% has $120 trillion. The bottom 50% has 4. That all happened under your watch. If you did grow up in the 60s and 70s with no air conditioning, walk 5 miles to school up a snowy hill with broken glass barefoot, and worked your ass off, and we now have 4-day work weeks, $200,000 houses, $600 rent, nearly free college, nearly free healthcare, nearly free daycare, we would be thanking you for your service. We would say, how could we have lived in this world without your selfless acts? Please don't retire. Please help us. Please teach us. Please mentor us. You did a terrible job. And I'm sorry, not all boomers, but this is your track record. And we're not saying that they're too old, where it's ageist. Oh, they're too old. They did this when they were in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. The silent generation and boomer generation does. And we're calling it out. It's called accountability. It is not ageist to call out the poor leadership of the boomer generation.
Thoughts?
I mean, I guess he did a good job of saying it out loud, because, yeah, there's a ton of, oh, look at Senator McConnell, right? Who's clearly actually he's not there. He's being walked to and from the chambers. and and it's like, okay, he's the one who's making decisions and clearly someone is, got to be in his pocket telling them to keep doing this.
Yes.
But it's just like brothers and sisters, give it up. Let the people actually have a chance to govern themselves. So,
yeah. That's
yeah.
that last point you made was going to be my basically entire point is that I think he's right on most of what he said, but it's very easy to point fingers when we weren't in their exact situation. Like, who's to say that our generation wouldn't have done the exact same thing given the same opportunity, right? I don't think finger pointing or name calling is constructive in any way, shape, or form. And it's the problem is, right? So if you guys say, or we're all saying, baby boomers are the problem. If we say they're the problem, what do people do when you call them out? They get the shield out.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's like, I think it's more important to come from a place of, and I guess we've probably tried other options and it didn't work. So I'm sure it's what we're resorting to now. But I do think it's just very symptomatic of a very broken system. And if it's not changed quickly, things will keep getting crazier and crazier and crazier.
No doubt, man. But yeah, that's the whole thing is, I guess in a way, maybe it would make sense to kind of have an age limit because think about it.
Totally, dude.
Are you representing the population anymore?
No, great point.
Technically not.
And Joe Rogan actually said this the other day. He's like, it's super dangerous having someone as old as Trump in president or anyone that old because they're only thinking 5-10 years down the road, they're going to die. Right? So
no, it's a fact,
you think he's thinking about me?
Right.
No, he doesn't give a shit about Ben. He's like, he's worried about his legacy, right? So I think age limits, because there's natural cognitive decline when you reach certain ages. Like, why does my grandpa have to go do a test every so often because he's past a certain age for his license? So it's not safe for him to drive a car, but it's safe for him to run a country?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. So huge thoughts to be taken into consideration there. And, it's so fascinating because there's so many issues with the systems that we have in place today. But man, to be fair, there's a lot of thought that was put in how to make things at least have a chance. You know what I'm saying? Of functioning in any way.
For a different world, though. Like, I think our technology that we have access to is so paradigm shifting that most things are just so inept to handle the current stressors.
Right.
Like, they're
right.
just so far removed. And the problem is the people making the decisions don't even understand how the shit functions. Like, when I hear these politicians talk about blockchain, crypto, AI, whatever, they have no clue. They don't know anything. And of course, there's exceptions to this, but I'd say probably 80% of them don't know anything, because realistically, Keith, what is their incentive to know this shit? They're good.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Yeah.
They're like, well, I'm sorted. I'm not worried about this. I don't give a shit. And so why would they know?
And it's so interesting because people get so mad at Ripple. But if you really think about it, the only thing, unfortunately, the real thing that gets Congress to move and to pay attention and to try to understand things is going to be that big checkbook. And Ripple, what they did was they put a coalition of people together to do that, right? The like Crypto for America, whatever. They got like Coinbase together, them together, and like all the people who actually have the money in the space, spending it on lobbying and trying to get people to pay attention to this technology. So in some ways, you've got obviously, when you're doing that, you're pushing things toward your direction, right? To be helpful for you.
Yeah, that's a bit of...
But otherwise, they probably wouldn't even be looking still. They'd be like, whatever, who cares?
Crazy that's like that. I do think we also have the other end issue too, which you talked about. Because we're all aware of this, we don't have quality candidates running.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's another massive issue, is who do we replace them with? I'm not going.
Nope.
Right? Unless the whole system changes, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. And that was the thing that David Goxgene, I got to talk to him. When I talked to him, I started to realize, I was like, okay, one thing that does make it get to a point to where you almost have to enter the scene is if things get so bad that you can't run your business. So you can't, you know what I'm saying, do anything without trying to change the system from the inside or whatever. But then at that point, how effective are you actually going to be? I don't know. But
very good point. Is it too far gone at that point? I'm really hopeful it doesn't come to that. I'm hoping that political leaders can kind of see the writing on the wall. I also do kind of think that they're aware that they're losing grasp of things, because most of these moves across all of these countries just reek of desperation.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, why would you be, like in my home country, there's like thing after thing, day after day, where I'm like, okay, someone's desperate here, because like they're doing stuff that is just crazy.
100%, man. One more thing I wanted to get some reactions to here. This is John K. He said this is what it was like in the 90s. Give up forever. I don't know if I can play the song, though.
True. Yeah, I would probably get hit with a copyright. But this is a funny joke. Have you seen The Office?
So I have, but
Okay,
I don't actually get this at all.
Bro, this is hilarious. Okay, so there's this one bit in The Office where John Krasinski, which his name is Jim in the show, he always trolls Dwight. Okay. And so one of the trolls was he pretended he's been this Asian guy the whole time.
Okay.
So he shows up to work and he's like, hey, what's up, Dwight? And Dwight's like, you're not Jim, whatever. And then they had the full bit going where Pam was in on it. They even had changed the family photos to have him in it rather than Jim. So it's like a very ongoing bit, kind of like if you know, you know kind of thing.
Okay. Gotcha. And so, and you were saying that was done by, like this one right here was done by AI.
Totally. Yeah. All the images of that guy, I'm fairly confident were AI.
Very interesting, man.
So, did you do anything else?
No, I was going to move into the memes.
Sure. I'll help with the channel. This guy's Doggy-Fi. I'm having trouble finding your channel at Doggy-Fi. Oh, there you are. Doggy Finance. Okay. Do you mind if I help them quick?
Do it.
Cool. So I'm going to give you some tough love here. If you want to grow your channel, you'll take it. So volatility is a gift to the faithful. Okay. So if you give me that title, what from this visual gives me context to that this is about crypto? I have no clue what this is about. I would honestly think this is probably like a Call of Duty clip. And then if you throw that context on top of it, this doesn't mean anything to anyone, right? Just in time BTC, that's far too broad. Like just in time for what, right? Does the visual add on to the title? The problem with a lot of this stuff is in a vacuum, the things aren't inherently bad. It's usually the combination of all these variables that makes it bad or not working, right? Like this is all subjective. It depends what your outcomes are that you're looking for. Like just in time BTC, I still don't understand why I should want this. And I said this in a voice note to our team the other day where I was like, so many people all across the internet are adding in small little layers of needed prior context to care, which is basically like saying this video isn't for you, for anybody who doesn't have that prior context. And then they're wondering why people don't click it. How many people could possibly see this and be like, yeah, I want this? The number is very, 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 very low. And so then on top of that, when there is infinite content from people that do know this stuff, you're just going to get suppressed down. So the strategy of titling and thumbnail and the concept of it is going to be that much more important. So from seeing these, what the Wellmar is happening, again, I don't even know what that is. Modern Investment Strategy 2026, modern financial vehicles that you need to take advantage of. So that's probably the best title that you have. But when you couple it with what looks again like a Call of Duty still shot, you're speaking to someone who cares about their finances, but then acting like they're about to see a gaming clip. So it just needs to refine the strategy a lot more and go study what other people are doing and reverse engineer what works for them. Sorry, Keith, we'll get back to.
No, I love it. I've been seeing there's this one channel that I saw yesterday. It was kind of like a similar vibe to this, where what they were doing was like taking like powerful clips of people who were talking about things that were happening in their life.
Mhm.
And like, and I guess this is like a trend that the kids are doing where it's like, footage of a game in the background, right? So it's like you're watching that, but it's like a powerful story about someone's like prospering through something.
That can happen if there's a strong enough click trigger for the subject matter of conversation and it's obvious about that. Whereas this is like, I think it's just trying to be too many things where it's not really calling out to anyone.
Right. And then so I'm trying to, because this is also like a meme thing, a trend thing that I'm trying to get a better grip on. I think it's called like core or something like that. Like something, oh man, I can't find the channel. It was a really big channel. It was like 100,000+ subscribers, and they were like showing these clips of people who
Oh, did I
were,
send that to you? My phone's
um,
dead.
I think
Was
it pulled up on my recommended, but it
Okay.
was from one of our channels that it was recommended on.
Got it.
So I'm struggling to find it right now. But yeah, it was like super interesting concept that clearly was something that people were doing, I guess, at scale and like copying. So I'm curious where they got that idea from too, because it's
Totally.
that people are doing.
Yeah. We'll definitely do a lot more content on helping you guys grow or spread a message on social media, because then it also allows you to be a more literate consumer where you understand what people are doing against you to try to hijack your attention. But realistically, like the biggest thing that I could always stress is the fundamental is it's a game of empathy. You can weaponize empathy for good or for bad, but understanding what people know, what they want, and the transformations they're looking to acquire that either push them towards pleasure or away from pain, and then understanding the different ways in which that exists from the human experience. That's like the whole game of marketing. You're just reverse engineering the outcome that you want from the people who can give that to you.
Okay, so I found the channel real quick. It's called Lost Reality. 174,000. And it says core style videos. I don't know exactly what that means. But anyways, just to kind of give you an example, it's like Shia LaBeouf doing an interview. I guess it's not the clips in the background per se, but it's just like this like motivational content kind of thing. So anyways, just wanted to share that that's something that people are doing.
No, totally. And so he's leveraging. Okay, so this is actually kind of smart what they're doing. So I'll share my screen and explain like the psychology of why what they're doing is working. So you always got to understand that like when you're seeing stuff pop up randomly on your screen, it's because people's interests are shifting towards that. So you'll notice that Keith's thumbs are very simplistic, right? Because that creates the assumption that this is going to not be hyper edited or AI content, right? So for about a year, people have been looking for these kinds of things. That's why channels like Keith have been blowing up. That's why channels like Clive has been blowing up. More like this authentic, real desire for connection. So what this person is doing is he's kind of using that against people by making it seem like it's celebrities giving that kind of content, right? So in the packaging, people know who this guy is. This guy's a very famous streamer. And also, he knows enough about the people who care about this to make the packaging around an inside joke that they would understand, or a context piece that they would care, like a click trigger. So she made me feel loved. I don't even know this guy, but every clip I've ever seen of him, it's involving a girl. Right? So clearly that would speak to people who know who this guy is because they watch his streams. It's usually about his girlfriend and crap like that. This guy is another one who his biggest thing, you can't see my cursor, can you? Dang it. I was talking about the second from the left. And then the guy 3 from the left, his name's Moist Critical, I think he goes by. He's got a very deep connection with his audience. He's one of the biggest YouTubers on the planet. And so people love this guy. So it was the loneliest time of my life with a thumbnail like that. Makes it seem like it's from his channel and he's about to really open up. And people would love that because they love him. So like, I feel, again, he did that with PewDiePie down below. He's leveraging the borrowed attention of the famous people with the timeliness of the desire for people that want human connection that is not hyper optimized or over edited. Does that make sense?
Fantastic.
So that's usually what it is. It's like the combination of multiple things working in your favor to get the outcome that you want.
Fire. So, well, thanks for doing that. And thanks for throwing the suggestions up or asking for the feedback. That was good stuff there.
Yeah, always happy to help you guys. If you guys are working on a project, like because I've done this on like every platform, there's no problem that you can't send to me that I can't give you a decent response on. Like, well, can I guarantee that it will work? No, but I can definitely point you in the right direction.
Love it. Moving on to the memes for the day. We had the Kobasi letter saying that Trump is preparing to invoke Cold War era powers to renew oil production off the Southern California coast. And I just saw a response to this that I thought was kind of funny. This guy said that trading has changed forever. It used to be looking at the charts, trying to actually understand what's going on
now it's
in
like
the prices. And now it's just go to Truth Social and wait around for what DJT has to say. So pretty real. And then this guy said, DJ Cows said, they're benchmarking us now. Imagine you go to ChatGPT and you said, why did you make the number a string? Fix this, please. And it goes, you're absolutely right. I was testing your intelligence. Here's the new version. So thought that was an interesting one.
Those ones are always hilarious.
And then this guy, Guardy says, why don't they just tokenize the oil in the Middle East and transport it across permissionless financial rails, therefore avoiding the Strait of Hormuz altogether?
I wish I thought of that. And then banger is the comment.
Yeah. And he's legit too. That's like an ETF guy. Yeah, the ETF guy at Bloomberg. So it's funny.
That's so good.
And this is funny on a couple levels too, because I mean, I remember there being a time where people are like trying to tokenize everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, brother, like tokenization does not solve your illiquidity problem. Tokenization does not solve the fact that no one wants what you're selling, is what I'm trying to say.
Totally.
Oh, which I thought was just too funny. People want to tokenize their cat's litter. And I'm like, brother,
it's a buzzword, right?
no one wants that.
Yeah, because it's a lot easier to attach to a buzzword than it is to explain through a story, right? So like that makes sense to me. And then people also ride that for support financially too.
100%. This guy said that this is what's going on at the White House at the moment. So I thought this was pretty good.
Oh, sorry I'm late. We just got out of a very important meeting with President Trump trying to find a new gold plating supplier. So, oh, sure. Yeah, no, don't mention it. I'm just, ready to get into it. We got a lot to talk about. I thought we'd start with our munitions report. Boom, boom. Everybody loves fireworks. Am I right? Oh, yeah, for sure. But no, it's just that, there might be a concern. So, a lot of the weapons we use, the Patriots, these long range interceptor missiles and things like that. Yeah, super cool, right? Secretary Hegseth's always talking about how fucking sweet they are. Super cool. It's very cool. And so, like a lot of cool things, they're very expensive and complicated, right? So, and meanwhile, the Iranians, they got like $30,000 drones, So when we shoot down a $30,000 drone with a $5 million missile, you can see how the math there doesn't really work out for us long term. Okay, so number one, you really should have been told this ahead of time, but we got a rule around here: no math. Okay, that's the first thing. Number two, just make more. Just make more. They're like I said, they're highly complex. There's a lot of different things that go into the process. Okay. You know the show Game of Thrones, right? We love that show, especially the last couple seasons. We're great, right? You know the scene near the end where that freaky sex pirate tells all those dirty island peasants, he says, "You build me 1,000 ships and I'll win this war," right? You remember that? Yeah, I do. I'm glad you brought that up, actually. That's a good analogy. So when you're watching that scene and you're like, 1,000 ships, they don't even have trees on these islands. How are they going to build 1,000 ships? It doesn't make sense, right? That's what I'm saying. Right. But then they do. They do it because their leader told them to. Yeah, no, yeah, but that's a TV show. Right. So I'm just saying, just do whatever they did.
So that pretty much encapsulates the vibe of
Does
that
feel
one
like
there.
feels like we're living in that, man. But the chat's so funny, man. I gotta give a shout out to some funny jokes. Matthew said, "Tokenizing my bathwater. Be right back." And then Billenberg says, "If we tokenize oil, we can send it through computer screens using XRPL. Genius." And then, if you tokenize cat litter, does that officially make it a shitcoin?
Oh,
That's good.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Well done. Well done, guys.
Oh, fire.
Any other memes, or is that?
A couple more. Trump said that when oil prices go up, we make a lot of money. And this guy, John Trades MBA, said, we? Because, yeah, that's definitely not a we situation. Oil companies will certainly make some money off of that, but not so much. What's going on over there? You all right?
Sorry. Man, these fire alarm people, they test this shit like every other week, bro. It's crazy.
Oh my god. Well, I hope it's a test.
They usually say, this is a test, but I couldn't hear it, so I'm assuming it's a test. I'll go out.
I don't know if that's how it works.
I think we're good.
So this one said, what happened to house parties? And this guy said, nobody has a house. Like,
that's very fair.
That's a very real one. Let's see here real quick. X users responding to the most obvious bait. So, we got a lot of people on the internet right now that aren't aware of the incentives of these systems and how they all work, and that a lot of people are also just straight up bots. And I thought that was a pretty perfect demonstration of what that can look like. You got people going crazy on the bots.
Don't get mad at stuff you see online. People make money from making you angry. So remember that.
Hundo P.
If one thing too relates to this and Logan Paul stuff, like if you come across something that you genuinely don't like remove your attention from it, like actually on the platform. So like either block the page or report it as spam. I've been doing that a lot lately. I'm reporting a ton of pages as spam because right now with the current structure of the test goes again. The current structure of things, we're basically incentivizing horrible behavior.
100%, man. This one goes and says, your salary is just your company's monthly subscription of you. And I thought that was just an interesting thought. I mean, it kind of is.
Kind of true, dude.
And then this next one is absolutely diabolical. So this is, I believe, Australian's ambassador to the United States. The rate of AI innovation is nothing like Mark Andreessen thought he'd see in his lifetime. Australia is making major investments in compute, renewable energy, and a smart regulatory framework to support the next wave. Great discussion with you, Mark. And now, if you follow the lore in the Mark Andreessen space, you know that there's kind of this obsession with the man's head, right?
Yes, it's crazy.
And people have been kind of pointing out the fact that, like, the editor of whoever took this picture here decided to edit this in a way
where that's crazy.
It goes out.
That had to be deliberate.
I'm like, yo, that's a crazy thing to do. So this guy said diabolical work from the Australian government's graphics team.
That's wild. Man, it's so much knowledge.
Yeah, man, clearly.
He's a smart dude, though. He really is.
No doubt. This one, pretty random, but Buffalo Wild Wings introduced the espresso protein infused with buffalo dry rub and jam-packed with 10 grams of protein. You're welcome for the macros. Launching in some select locations, and KFC actually responded, asking for Dude Wipes to go ahead and just handle that one.
That's gnarly.
Because Dude Wipes, basically, they go around and they'll like respond to stuff like, you know,
I got you.
It's going to lead to a situation where you might need some
you might need our product, man.
Anyways, I think those are all the things I had for today. Just some community stuff.
Yeah, let's hit it up.
Awesome, man. So we had 2 episodes ago, we did something on Professor Chang, and we had an updated comment come in through that we wanted to respond to here. Someone was a little bit upset, I think.
Yeah.
Semui Sun 6684 says, to think that being an influencer is, to think that being an influencer keeps you genuine is such a strange point of view. It's just a prison of the mind. What happens when everyone is working on their YouTube channel, churning out content? It becomes the only way to make a decent living. It is all by design. They can't see it because they profit from it. Echo chambers. Warriors stuck jabbering behind a ring light. You are all sold out and don't even know it. You keep
You're good.
people stuck, unable to prepare, unable to react, unable to defend themselves and their families in the real world.
So a few things. I have a theory that like almost all the comments like that, they always end up edited. So like I will say that I understand where that person is coming from, and I can agree with their logic to a degree, but because they dropped the word ring light, I'm like, oh, this person's tried to be a creator before. And then I went and looked at their page and I saw their playlists, and they had tried to be a creator before. So a lot of times people, when they're angry at you, they're also just projecting their own view of reality or whatever's happened to them. But like their logic is not entirely without merit. My issue with it comes from how far do you want to take this, right? Because you could say the same argument with the 9-to-5 workday. You could say the same argument with any of these things, right? And I would argue that people making content about the things that they enjoy to make money is a better outcome than an office job that you can't wait to run away from.
I'm sorry, I was reading some stuff.
You're good. You're good. Did you have anything else to add?
No. Yeah, I mean, but like you said, I do think that there's some real uh things to think about with it. I think it all just comes down to, I don't know, about like keeping people stuck, unable to prepare and able to react. And like we were
Yeah.
to help people have
Yeah. It's all based
more
on
information.
perspective. And my whole thing, I just replied back to them like with a genuine question. I was like, okay, then why do you watch it? I can agree. If you have that opinion, cool, that's yours. You came to it, but like, why are you here?
Yeah.
That's my whole thing. So I hear what you're saying. Decent logic. I just think it stopped at a point, and then, but it was an interesting thought experiment because after I read that, I'm like, yeah, like there's, of course, when you think about the incentives, there's a degree of truth to that, and that was always the case as soon as social media started. Whereas if you had the balls to go start earlier, you would have made money faster. It was a lot easier.
No doubt. No doubt. All right. We also had another episode this week with the ladies from the Wall Street Skinny, Jen and Kristen. Uh, really loved that episode. It was a lot of fun. And just, some cool, nice comments. Israel said, thank you for adding valuable information to our life. Good show. Mm,
I like that one. Yeah.
yeah, welcome PHXMX. I was just cruising by because I heard Keith say good things about memes and markets. The guy that walks around the park talking to a stick was right. It's good stuff. I subscribed. Well, welcome on in, and about time.
Yeah, honestly, come on, come through. But we appreciate you taking the time to check it out and say what up. Thank you so much. And you should definitely listen to the guy with the stick in the park, man.
Yeah, we appreciate you very, very much so. So yeah, that's pretty much what I had from this most previous episode. Anything else on your mind, Ben, around any of this?
No, I think why don't we spend 5-10 minutes just seeing whatever's going on in the chat. There's always some great discourse here.
What up, chat? What up?
Oh, I thought you were trying to like code something to me. I got so concerned there.
No,
I was like trying to read your lips. You're good. You're good. When does the stick make a debut?
Oh, is it?
Do you have
Is that
it
something that's
handy? Yeah. Do people want to see the stick?
Let me show you. Let me show you what I'm working with, guys. It was actually the same thing Ari had earlier.
Man,
I might.
yes, it was. I'm gonna write notes down for our social media literacy episode for like things to teach people. There's the stick.
There it is, guys. It's an awesome device. One of the best investments I ever made, and I got so close to not making it, but definitely worth it.
I was like, yo, you'll crush that. You should get that thing. And
Yeah,
then
man.
I was happy you did because obviously, look at it. That thing
Come
is
on.
like an incredibly high ROI investment.
For sure.
Like
For sure.
wild. If you think about that from like a business perspective, bro, you do that 10 times out of 10.
Yeah. And I had no idea at the time either. I was struggling with this one, or like the GoPro and stuff too. But then I realized like, no, this is superior.
Dude, it's got the gimbal built in.
Yeah, dude.
When you're
Like next level.
moving, that's a cheat code. You know, how times I've looked so dumb like 6, 7 years ago trying to hold my shit, looking so stupid. So the tech's come a long way. But one thing I was saying there was Carl's mentioning the fact that you can buy fake views and whatnot. All engagement can be purchased, but they always leave clues of purchase engagement. I can always spot. Heck, I switched over to the.
Oh no.
That's wild.
I don't think there's any coming back from that either.
Can't switch it back, can I?
Nope.
That's crazy. All right, so I'm talking to my webcam now. What up, peeps? But yeah, it leaves clues. Like we've even talked about this before. I don't want to like throw shade on anyone, but there was one project that was bragging about their views, and it was so clearly purchased. So yeah, definitely always be aware. Move with your head on a swivel on social media.
Definitely a weird thing to brag about your views too. So it might be a little bit of a hinty hint.
Yeah, true. Because obviously they cared enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But heck yeah.
Yeah, this is on my webcam now. But that's all for me. Do y'all have anything else?
Yeah, what up, folks in the chat? Y'all know what we typically do here. So
New background. Same background, different angle. Heads up, new recording track created. I didn't want that. My little doohickey here is getting a little finicky, which is not good. What's up?
I'm just now seeing some of the comments. Brand one said, "Don't pull out the stick." Stick could be
Got it.
colloquial language.
Got it.
Weaponry.
Have I read all these books? No, I put the number at probably 20% that I've read. And then a bunch more if I would include like small little bits from it. But yes. Did I see gold dropping? Gold price.
It looks less like a stick, guys, because it's not on the extension, the whatchamacallit.
Mm-hmm.
But I put it on the selfie stick. My goodness.
That's it. Well, do y'all have anything else before we wrap up the stream? We appreciate you guys giving us your time here. It was awesome, as always, hanging out with y'all. And if you're new to the stream or you're watching this on the replay, definitely click subscribe and turn on that bell button so that you can come hang out with us every Tuesday and Thursday. I keep looking at the wrong place. Tuesday and Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, definitely. And if you haven't already, you already know what you're supposed to do. It's time for that Spotify reveal. Come on over to Memes and Markets on Spotify. Give us that 5-star review. You know you want to, and we appreciate you without a doubt for taking the time to do it. If you missed anything or if you want to go back and review something, you can play it for a couple of minutes and then it'll allow you to leave a review after you've done that. So if it's not letting you do it, that's why. And the song reveal for today is here's how this happened. I saw a song on like an Instagram reel or something, and I tried to figure out what it was, and it was just like remix, like TikTok-ified remix. And it was a Juicy J song.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up on Juicy J's page, and then I was just like playing some old Juicy J. And then it went into this new album that he launched in August last year. He launched an album that he released in August last year that I had not heard. And it's just like jazz fusion album. And I was like, whoa. So he's got like this jazz music that I haven't listened to fully yet, but I was like, there's a couple of bangers on here and I love me some jazz music. So
that's cool, man. That's cool. And don't forget, guys, when we get to 100 ratings, we will release that playlist. I've been curating it because you've been giving me more time. But I don't want any more time. I think it's ready to go. So let's get it to 100.
You're just going to get inundated with tracks, is what's going to happen if you take too long.
Totally. 100%. Well, that's all from my end. Anything else, Keith?
That's it for me. Appreciate you guys for being here. Make today the best day of your life.
That's it, man. Be the light you want to see, guys. And we will see all of you guys on Tuesday for another stream. Cheers, guys. Have a great weekend.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Hey, you made it to the end of the clip. that means you're probably enjoying this. And if so, just know that you can catch us live every Tuesday and Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to see the full version of this episode, you can click the link in the description down below. Otherwise, YouTube thinks that you will enjoy this next.